Hi everyone, this is Jason Zach from Nathaniel School of Music. In this lesson, we are going to look at a piano exercise to practice chords in relation to each other, musically in relation to each other, and also improve our inversion knowledge by creating what you would call as a pivot or a wall or a kind of a block where you cannot really cross that particular wall, so to speak, in whichever direction. And we are going to look at a workout for both hands. So by the end of this lesson, you're going to be a lot more confident with both your major and minor chords, and not just that, also to be able to practice them with every single of one of their inversions depending on the pivot note or depending on the anchor note. You would have heard the intro video where I gave you a glimpse of what we are going to learn. We are going to do that and a little bit more. So get your keyboards out and practice along with me. I will slow it down. You can also pause the video as you learn, and also you can consider getting my handwritten notes on our Patreon page and help support the channel. Before we get started, it'll be awesome if you can consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on the bell icon for regular notifications. Let's get cracking. So a good way to start would be to take just one chord, even though there are 24, right? 12 major and 12 minor. Take one chord. Let's pick G major, G, B, D. Okay, and G major would have three inversions. Root position, G, B, D. BDG, first inversion. So to remember the first inversion has the root on top or the third in the bass. Third in the bass, root on the top, while root position has the root in the bass and fifth on the top. Okay, and second inversion has the root in the center and the third on the top and the fifth in the bottom. Okay, so G major, root position, first inversion, second inversion. So that is our base point. We are going to start from there and build our exercise from the G major chord, essentially. So in other words, there's no scale needed in this exercise. You just have to build it based on the notes of the chord and then form more chords. So the way I like to map this out would be G major has the notes G, B, D. So you write all these three notes in a circle, sort of like the node or the main anchor point. Along their branches, you're going to find all the chords that share those notes in common. So if you start with G, what are all the triads that share or have the note G in them? So a simple way to look at it is the namesake chords, G major, G minor, has to have G in them. So you can write major chords in one side and minor chords in the other side. So you'll get G major, which has G. You'll have G minor, which also has G. And then what else? What is the chord? Both major and minor triads have a root, third and fifth, and the fifth is a perfect fifth always for a major and minor. The third for a major chord will be a major third, and the third for a minor chord will be a minor third. But the fifth remains perfect. So you ask yourself, which is the note whose fifth is G? So the answer would be C. Correct? C's fifth is G. So you're going to end up getting C major, C minor. So what do we have so far? G major, G minor, C major, C minor. We'll get to the inversion shortly. And then you ask yourself, G happens to be the major third of what note? The answer would be E flat. Right? So you have to know your intervals, major thirds and minor thirds. I'll leave you a chart in the notes, so do check that out. So E flat major has G in the middle, and then which minor chord has G as its middle note or as its minor third? The answer would be E minor, E, G, B. So the six chords that have the note G in common between them would be G major, C major, E flat major among all the majors, and then you have G minor, C minor, and E minor among all the minors. So to practice this drill, first off, you take the anchor point G. Remember, we started by picking one chord, G major chord, G, B, D. We are picking that anchor note G, and the exercise is basically going to be in the right hand. I want you to keep G on the top no matter what. So the note G will stick on top, and you have to figure out a way to play G major triad, and pretty much all those 6 triads which are mentioned there with the note G up top. So to start off with G major triad, you'll have to play it in its first inversion to keep that G up top, correct? So B, D, G. Remember, G is my wall. I do not cross this point for the duration of the exercise. So G major, the G wall played by the pinky, that would be a good finger to use, since anyway you're not going to go above that. So G major, then we'll take C major. How do you do that? That's pretty easy. C major in its root position. Now E flat major, you don't want to play it like that, otherwise you're crossing the wall. You're going across that beyond that anchor point. So G major, C major, E flat major, you'll have to play all the chords with G at the right, at the last point. So maybe play every chord 4 times, C major 4 times, E flat major 4 times, and that's about the major chords with G up top. Practice that. You could also do an arpeggio pattern that could work for you well would be HLML, high, low, middle, low. HLML, H, okay? HLML, H. There we go. HLML, HLML, HL. So that's about the major chords which we've practiced. Now bringing in the minors, that would be E minor with G up top, C minor with G up top, and G minor with G up top. So G minor would be played in the first inversion with your root up top, C minor in the root position, and finally E minor in the second inversion. So each of your major chords would be practiced, one with the root position, one with the first, one with the second. So it becomes very comprehensive, and in the real world you're not expected to just know how to play the G major chord or the E flat major chord. You're expected to know how to shift between them, and that's the case whether you're playing a ukulele, a banjo, a guitar, or whatever instrument you pick. You would have to, yes, on Google or on the internet or in a book, you learn the positions of a chord or the visual diagram of a chord, maybe with all the inversions too, but then you have to still practice shifting from one to the other. And I feel that this serves you best when you have a goal. In this case, I'm giving you a proper anchor up top. Do not cross that wall no matter what. Okay, so let's go through all the 6 chords. G major with G on the top. You can even sing the order of notes if you want to train your ears. B, D, G, C, E, G, B flat, E flat, G, and then the minors, B flat, D, G, C, E flat, G, B, E, G. You see how monotonous that G is. It's there for all the chords, right? So we've pretty much covered keeping G as the anchor point up top. Now the other exercise would be keep G as the anchor point in the bottom and distribute your workout now to the left hand, because we haven't brought it into play yet, right? So, and it also sounds better if you play it this way in the left hand. So I'm keeping the chosen note in the bottom now. You cannot cross the left side of this wall. Again, the pinky. So you go G major, C major, E flat major, G minor, C minor, E minor. So that's G major root position, C major second inversion because the root's in the middle, E flat major first inversion because the root's up top. Then you have your G minor root position, C minor second inversion, and E minor in its first inversion. Now you don't have to really memorize all these names, first, second, root. You can also do it intuitively. You can a suggestion I have for you would be write down each chord in a circle. So G major would be GBD, C major would be CEG, C minor would be C, E flat, G. So when you write it in a circle, you automatically get all the three shapes that you might encounter as you play this pivot note exercise. So let's get a bit ambitious now and do the drill in both hands. So G on top and G in the bottom, and let's see how it goes. G major, C major still, G is at the top and bottom in the left hand, E flat major, G minor, C minor, E minor. Let's bring in the arpeggio in the right hand. Maybe blocks in the left hand is good enough for now. E minor, C minor, and finally G minor. And just to get a bit more creative and build your technique as well, maybe we can do a more expanded arpeggio. You can take the three notes of the G major triad and just copy the top G to the bottom as well and play a 16th note, or rather a faster arpeggio, which could be, so that'll be high, low, top G, bottom G, top G. So high, da, 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 low, and the middle notes would be B and D. 16th notes, and the left could just follow a pulse. Remember, now G is an anchor top and bottom of the right hand, and it's at the anchor at the left or the lower part of the left hand. E flat, E minor, C minor, G minor. Repeat. Major, C major, E flat major, G minor, C minor, E minor. This is your arpeggio pattern. Slowly. Okay. Left hand for now can just block it out. Or else you can play a slow arpeggio in the left. So L, H, M, and hold the L in the left and hold the high in the right. You have two arpeggios in both hands. But at two different speeds. Left hand's half the speed of the right hand, and they play in different patterns starting with different inversions. So you're always bound to get a unique note. You're always bound to harmonize. You might think, oh, the left hand and the right hand might clash because they are playing the same chord, but they are not playing the same inversion and they are not playing the same pattern. So the odds of the notes clashing are very low, and thus you'll have some harmony. You'll have thirds in one, at any given point of time. Okay, so we are not done yet. We'll conclude the lesson by just looking at, remember where we started. We said, let's pick the G major chord and find a workout for ourselves. We took the first note of the G major chord, that is G. Why can't we take the next note, which is B, the third note? So if B is your new anchor, step one, you start building up your chords and their inversions by just asking yourself the simple question, which are the chords that have B in them? And we are limiting our study to major and minor chords. We will leave a few links in the description where you can harmonize pretty much a single note with all sorts of other complex chords. You can use major 6, minor 7, flat 5, some 9s, sharp 11s, suspended, augmented, and whatnot. That's a very detailed theoretical video. So we leave that link. You should probably watch that after this video. And the bigger topic which I will be covering, and the bigger topic within all of this is what I call as chord trees, where you can take this to a melodic context and actually compose melodies based on the linking of chords together. So we leave a chord tree link as well in the description. Do check that out. But this lesson is more to get your fingers used to the chords as you're going through the common chords or the chords that have B in them or G in them or D in them. Okay, so coming to B, again our rule, let's figure out the chords. You'll have B major, obviously, namesake. B minor, obviously. Now you ask yourself, which note has B as its perfect fifth? That would form that one's major as well as minor chord. So that will end up being what's perfect fifth is B. Answer E, correct? You can see my chart in the notes. So E's perfect fifth is B. So you get E major and you get E minor. So far, B major, B minor, E major, E minor. And now the tricky ones, which is the note that has B as its major third? Not so tricky. G major. G major's middle note has B, that you already know. Then which is the minor chord that has B as its minor third? G sharp minor. You'll have to know that, or you'll have to know major thirds and minor thirds pretty well. Okay, so now the exercise continues. I'm just revising and going a little bit faster because I've already taught you the construction from the G note. Now we'll do it from the B note. So keeping B as the wall on top, you get B major, first inversion, E major, root position, G major in its second inversion. So and the minors, again with B up top, B minor, E minor, G sharp minor. And the rules and regulations for the left hand was keep B at the bottom and never go below it. So B major, E major, G major, B minor, E minor, G sharp minor. And let's bring the two hands together. For contrast, I'm playing an arpeggio in the right hand. G sharp minor, E minor, B minor. Let's now do the fancier arpeggio. Let's now arpeggiate even the left hand, doing LHMH but a bit slower. That's about B, and we did B as the wall in the left hand here in the bottom. We did B as the wall in the right hand on the top. One more note is there, right, in the G major chord. That would be our D. So D, keeping D as the wall. But before we keep it as the pivot or the anchor and start our practice, we'll first figure out the chords that have D in them or that share D in them. You'll have D major, D minor, namesake chords. Then you ask yourself the question, which note has D as its perfect fifth? That would be G. So you'll have G major, G minor, having that D up top. Then you ask yourself the next question, D is the middle or the major third of what? B flat major. D is the minor third of what? B minor. And now putting it together, keeping D as the wall in the right hand, D major, G major, B flat major, then D minor, G minor, B minor, then keeping D as the wall in the left hand in the bottom area, D, G, B flat, B minor, G minor, D minor. A good ear training drill would be to sing the roots of the chords no matter what inversion you're doing in the left or the right hand. So make sure you sing. If you say D major, it's D. If you say B flat major, it's B flat, like that. So D, G, B flat, D minor, G minor, B minor. Let's arpeggiate it now with some dynamics. And if you think about it, you don't have too many remaining chords to practice, because in this bunch you've got a fair amount, and we've also repeated a few for even more practice. So moving forward, all you need to probably do is take another triad, which is a chromatic half step up or a chromatic step down. A flat has the notes A flat, C, E flat, and go through the routine again, and do a chromatic step down, and you'll get F sharp major, and you go F sharp, A sharp or B flat, D flat. You can also go a whole tone up, so that'll be A major. You can even go whole tone down and do F major. Essentially, I'm trying to find another triad that doesn't have any of the G major notes in them. The best way to do that is to go up and down seconds, be it a major second or a minor second, right? So I hope you have fun with the exercise and also improve your chord inversion practice. Your coordination with the left hand and right hand can be whatever pattern you're setting for yourself, but you need to, a few things on the piano and music in general, you don't need to play it or say that you're playing it by feel, or I'm born with it, or I'm gifted to do this. No, these are things that just need hard work and hours of practice. So if you practice this hard enough or as much as a professional, you will perfect it. You're not going to be okay with inversions. You're going to actually be damn good. You'll master at least major and minor chords. So think of it that way. There are few things in music where if you practice, you're going to get it no matter what. You'll be as good as anyone. So in a sense, a lot about music is actually a sport. If you work hard, if you want to play it, you just have to put in the hours, right? So I hope you found the lesson useful. Get my notes on Patreon. Don't forget to hit that subscribe, turn on the bell icon for regular notifications. And if you want to learn something structured in our school, come over, build a 6-month semester or a year of training and decide what you want to learn. Or if you're a beginner, you don't have to decide anything. Just do our foundation course, right? Thanks a ton for watching the video. I will catch you in the next one. Cheers.